shall take all measures to ensure that Mr. Jhadav is not executed.
बहुत बड़ा तमाचा है पाकिस्तान के लिए। पाकिस्तान पूरी तरह से एक्सपोज हो चुका है।
इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट का जो है डिसीजन बहुत अच्छा है।
हमको गणपति बापा ने बड़ा आशीर्वाद दिया है।
It's a big win for India at the International Court of Justice. Kulbhushan Jhadav cannot be executed by Pakistan, at least for the moment. This is what the court has ruled today. It is a big snub for Pakistan, and the big story we are tracking right here this evening. I'm Shreya Dhoundial.
Good evening, I'm Marya Shakil, and joining us at the top of Epicentre at 7, the Law Minister of India, Ravi Shankar Prasad. And this is the first government reaction on the big verdict, and it is coming right here on this show. Before we go to him, a quick look at all the headlines we are tracking this hour. And let's not forget that what has happened today, is a clear vindication of India's stand. And these are the 5 big takeaways from the World Court's verdict
that has come in today. First of all, Pakistan cannot hang former naval commander Kulbhushan Jhadav till the International Court of Justice case is settled. So that's the first big news point that came in. Secondly, India has a valid case to ask for consular access. Thirdly, Pakistan has violated the Vienna Convention. This is what the International Court of Justice is saying very clearly. It is also contradicting Pakistan's claim, saying that it has jurisdiction in the matter. Thus, this is a big rap for the Pakistani army. The ICJ is saying that it has jurisdiction not just over civilian courts, but over military courts as well, which essentially means that every argument that Pakistan has made has been demolished. So with that, let's go straight across to our newsmaker this evening. Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad is joining us live this evening from the national capital.
Mr. Prasad, grateful for your time here on Epicentre at 7. Big day for your government, sir. It was clearly a high-risk, high-reward strategy which finally earned dividend. Would you call this a victory of rule of law today?
Surely it is. Marya, I must today need to compliment the Prime Minister Narendra Modi for taking up this leadership. With Sushma Swaraj, the External Affairs Minister, the officers, and let me tell you that I was also involved in the process of finalizing the draft, though I kept it a complete secret. But what is important today, let the viewers of CNN IBN know something. On 25th of January last year, Mr. Jhadav was arrested and it was informed to India. Thereafter, India has been seeking consular access. This year, sometime in January, almost after a year, they said that you please cooperate in the investigation of the FIR. India rightly said, unless you allow us access, we can know, we can meet him, how he was arrested. It was denied. And 2 dates, Marya, is very important. I want the viewers to know today. I have got the entire petition with me and the order. On 10th of April, the military court sentences him to death. And a press release is issued that the army chief has confirmed the order. And on the same day, Pakistan has the temerity to inform the government of India, you have not responded to our earlier request of assisting in the investigation. How farce it is. And all this have been furnished to the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice saw through the game. Marya, what is the larger narrative we have furnished there? In the absence of a consular access, the free and fair trial becomes a nullity in the eye of law. And see India's commitment to rule of law. Ajmal Kasab killed so many innocent Indians in 2008 Mumbai attack. Pakistan disowned him. Yet we gave him a good lawyer in the district court, a very good lawyer in the high court, and a top senior lawyer amicus to defend him in the Supreme Court. That is the commitment we have to the rule of law. But why it is important today? It is important that Pakistan today is on the benchmark of being exposed before the bar of the world opinion. Because International Court of Justice represents the world opinion. And I have got the order before me. If they say in the order, and I will seek your indulgence to both of you, the court concludes by indicating the following measures. Pakistan shall take all measures at disposal to ensure that Jadhav is not executed pending the final decision in these proceedings, and shall inform the court of all the measures taken in implementation of the present order.
Correct.
That is, so firm is the order.
Okay.
We hope that Pakistan will abide by this order. It is a very crucial moment in the strategic narrative of India's quest for safeguarding the security of every citizen of India.
Mr. Prasad, good evening. Shreya this side. Though the court has said that the verdict is binding on Pakistan, and all of us here in India are hoping that as well, but knowing the rogue state that Pakistan is, Mr. Prasad, what does India do if Pakistan decides to defy that order? Sartaj Aziz has already said that their national security issue stands and they will decide what they have to do eventually. What if Pakistan simply decides they don't want to follow this order?
Shreya, this question was also asked from the Foreign Ministry spokesperson of the Government of India. The matter is sub judice. As the Law Minister of India, once we have invoked the jurisdiction of the World International Court of Justice, we trust in the efficacy of that. The nature of firm order I have already read to you. That's my first point. Second, it was an order passed after hearing the Pakistani side. Pakistani side was also present. The argument of the lawyers of Mr. Harish Salve, I need to compliment him today, and the Pakistani counsel was there also on your channel live. The quality of argument was very clear to both of you, to all the Indians, in fact the entire world. Therefore today Pakistan is at the bar of world opinion, as I said. Beyond that, I don't think I need to make any comment when the matter is sub judice, because whatever Sartaj Aziz said, I don't wish to join issue with him. But one thing I would like to gently point all the Pakistani leaders or whosoever is talking about, Pakistan has also voluntarily accepted the mandate of Vienna Convention.
Right.
As is India. That is very crucial.
Sir, would you agree that what worked for India was this meticulous legal preparation, because Harish Salve was able to establish that very important link between provisional measures and India's right to claim so, while Pakistan was continuously throughout its argument saying that there is no urgency in this matter?
Surely, one thing, as I said, my good friend Harish Salve deserves my full compliments and good wishes for the masterly manner in which he performed. But what is more important, Marya, you need to appreciate, India did not go into the bilateral tutu meme.
Right.
India's case, and we did not question the sovereignty of Pakistan also. We only said, if such a rank violation of a serious procedural safeguard jointly acceded to by both India and Pakistan in the shape of Vienna Convention, if it is violated, it is a serious case of international law. And what more proof do you want that they are seeking India's cooperation in investigation and publicly confirming the sentence of capital punishment with affirmance by the army chief? Obviously, all these are documented. Therefore, it is very important that these facts are brought to the notice of viewers.
Mr. Prasad, you know, India has asked for consular access from Pakistan at least 16 times. All 16 times it has been denied. Now the International Court of Justice is saying India is absolutely in a right position to ask for consular access. This is their right. My question to you is, that is still a sticky issue because there is no clarity on that coming at least from Pakistan. So there's a good chance that Pakistan may decide not to give India consular access. What does India do in a situation like that, sir?
I don't think I need to speculate at all. There is a whole narrative available for us, including the architecture as to how to go about. I don't wish to prejudge that, Shreya. But what is important, you must understand, India had made out a case of this urgent hearing and some kind of interim measure to prevent the execution of the death sentence, which was so eminent. And don't forget, even in the order, let me note it, the court also notes that Pakistan has given no assurance that Mr. Jadhav will not be executed before the court has rendered its final decision. Therefore, Pakistan's reluctance also to give an assurance was rightly noted by the court. This was followed by this order. Therefore, the whole reach, the ambit and the earnestness which the International Court of Justice has shown in the way of an interim measure is required to be appreciated. But remember, our entire case was built, I've also got the relief, was on the denial of well-recognized, mutually accepted relief and safeguards available to a person in detention.
Sir, you know what Pakistan's response has been? They are saying that this verdict is a protocol and procedure issue. Do you buy that argument?
I think people of Pakistan know English, Marya, isn't it? The order is so clear, the order is available. I'm sure they are available too. This was passed after hearing both the sides. Elaborate, well-publicized, videographed, telecast proceeding world over, including in India and Pakistan. So in this light, they say it is a protocol order. It is a confirmed order, some kind of a mandamus to Pakistan. That's all I can tell you. Surely, beyond that, the matter is sub judice. I don't want to make any further comment. But this is something very surprising.
Mr. Prasad, you are India's law minister. You were someone who was involved in making that draft as well. You're saying you've kept it a secret so far, so we are happy that you revealed this secret on Epicentre at 7. My question to you is simple, sir.
That is wrong. That is wrong. Now just take it. Don't highlight it. No. That's not fair.
Okay, Mr. Prasad. Let me carry on with my question then. My question is simple. What is India's end game here? Is it to stop Jadhav's execution, or is it to ultimately bring him back?
Well, you may recall, Shreya, that in the parliament, Sushma ji has publicly informed the government of India will do everything to secure his release and bring him back. All these are measures in that direction. Don't forget, India for the first time invoked the jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice in such a situation. And yes, you are right. As Marya rightly pointed out, for the first time, India sought the opening of the window. And this opening of the window is not a simple window. The case has generated in a curiosity and optimism world over.
Correct.
The whole world today is looking towards Pakistan. So in that way, it is also a big strategic gain for India to explain how Pakistan behaves. And the kind of response which has come today is equally surprising.
Sir, you know, this clearly is unprecedented victory for your government. Looking at what the ICJ said, it has clearly said that it has jurisdiction over military courts as well. Can the government of India now push for Jadhav's trial in a civil court in Pakistan?
Well, all these are processes. I'm afraid, Marya, I cannot make any comment now, because we have also made a prayer of restitution of the entire process. Namely, you can go with trial only when you take the preliminary step of giving consular access. Consular access is a precondition of a fair trial. Remember this basic aspect. Consular access is the precondition of a fair trial. And the international canons of justice, a fair trial is integral to punishment. More so, capital punishment, hanging or death. Therefore, if the preliminary has been violated with impunity, surely it goes to the root of the matter. But those are matter of larger adjudication when the matter commences hearing again.
Sir, you know, there's already opinion in Pakistan that maybe Pakistan made a mistake. That is something, you know, that is being talked about in Pakistani media. I'm just sidestepping here a bit. Does what has happened in the International Court of Justice today, is it likely to impact the chances of Mr. Modi meeting Mr. Sharif on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Kazakhstan, 8th and 9th of June, I believe? Does it impact that at all?
I don't think I need to comment upon that. Whether Honorable Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi ji meets Mr. Nawaz Sharif or doesn't meet is entirely a matter to be considered by the government of India at the highest level. I don't think the nuances of that meeting is to be decided by Shreya and Marya in the studio of CNN IBN. Is it so?
Oh, fine,
No.
sir.
Hopefully not, sir. No, I don't think so.
Last question, sir. At a time when Kashmir is witnessing another cold summer and this summer of unrest, what message do you think this verdict actually sends for India-Pakistan relationship?
I would say to Pakistan, large majority of Kashmiri people want peace. They want amity. They want to remain with India. And Marya, you may have seen in Pulwama, the recruitment for police forces of Kashmir. And thousands of boys and girls were there, where an army officer was killed. That is the reality of Kashmir. And Pakistan is recognizing this. Therefore, money is coming. And today, fortunately, unfortunately, even the Pakistani patrons and even the handlers and the operators are openly saying on sting operations that we get money from Pakistan and then we allow stone throwing. But those things will be exposed. I am quite sure there is a great inner strength of amity and peace in Kashmir, and we hold that very firmly. And as the Prime Minister has said, we believe Kashmir is a part of India, but Jamhuriyat, Insaniyat will always triumph in Kashmir. That's how I see it.
On that note, thanks so much for joining us here on Epicenter at 7. Law Minister of India, Ravi Shankar Prasad, there giving a view of what all went into this preparation with which India went to the ICJ.
And he was personally involved. He doesn't want us to highlight it, but he was personally involved. Mr. Prasad, thank you for joining us.
And the International Court of Justice's order today was a big snub to Pakistan, with all its sham proof and defense being completely demolished. Here are the arguments that Pakistani team had presented before the ICJ, which were all rejected.
So let's take you through those arguments, 5 of them, step by step. First of all, Pakistan's first big argument was that the International Court of Justice lacks jurisdiction over the case since it is a matter of internal security. But the World Court today said that prima facie, it does have jurisdiction. Pakistan also argued, this was the second big argument, that the ICJ verdict is not binding on member countries. The court today said that its order is very much binding. The third argument, this is the argument seeking the dismissal of India's plea. Well, that has been dismissed as well. And while Pakistan said that the Vienna Convention does not apply to the case of a spy, they of course are claiming that Kulbhushan Jhadav is a spy. The International Court of Justice said that espionage cases are not exempt. But despite all of this, sore loser Pakistan continues to live in denial. Some of the reactions that have come in from that. Take a look.
It's a very basic thing. What the court has done is to, given its ruling on a provisional measure, which is basically a procedural process. And I think that's about it. The court has given has said nothing on the merits or maintainability of the case.
Many clauses have been added to the earlier declaration, including excluding all matters related to the national security of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, which in the current case totally excludes the jurisdiction of ICJ under Article 36(2) in our view. After India stood exposed in state-sponsored terrorism, terror financing, spying and subversive activities, it has desperately tried to divert the world attention by presenting Kulbhushan's case from humanitarian angle. India is trying to defend a person whose actions have led to the killing of scores of innocent Pakistanis.
Well, just to tell them that India is trying to defend its citizen who was abducted by Pakistan, then charged with fictitious crimes, given a sham trial and handed a death sentence. Let's get in our guest this evening. Naved Chaudhary is a senior leader of the Pakistan People's Party. He's joining us from Islamabad via Skype. Suhasini Haider is the Diplomatic and Strategic Affairs Editor of The Hindu. And we are also being joined by Biswajit Bhattacharjee here in the studio. Chaudhary Saab, I'm coming to you. What has happened today is a big setback for your country, a big embarrassment on the international stage. I hope this evening you're willing to accept at least that much.
Well, one way you can say it's right, but another way we can go and consider in the best way, because our government and our people are not able to find out why they accepted the jurisdiction and why our government accepted to appear in that court. This question arises every day by all the people to our government.
Chaudhary Saab.
But one side.
Chaudhary Saab.
Yeah.
There were 11 judges in the International Court of Justice. Not a single one of them was Indian, and the court has very clearly said they have jurisdiction in the matter. Why is Pakistan continuing to live in denial, sir?
You see, wherever our person, we have also the right to send our judge over there, but our judge was not there. So this is one reason, what we are saying. And otherwise, if we accept all these things morally and it's a success of yours, then it will open another gate for us that we can take Kashmir issue there. Are you willing to accept that the Kashmir issue should be discussed over there?
No, but why should Kashmir be discussed? Because the topic or the issue with which India went to ICJ was the case of Kulbhushan Jhadav. I'm going to get Swasini Haider on this. Swasini, you know, Pakistan's arguments were rather bizarre. For them to say that India was using the court as the scene of political theatre, they were also, you know, talking about the urgency clause being misused. Do you think from the word go, Pakistan went into ICJ with all flawed arguments?
Well, certainly they went without the history of precedents in their favor. The fact is, to begin with, when it comes to cases of death penalty, the International Court of Justice is actually very firmly ranged against death penalty. The second part of it is when it comes to the Vienna Convention. Now, this is something that Pakistan, like India, has signed on to. So to not give India any consular access, and forget consular access, you know, the first thing in the Vienna Convention, and they say this under 36(1), is that you have to inform not just Kulbhushan Jhadav of his rights, you have to inform the government that you have their citizen. They took several weeks over this entire procedure. And even to date, we don't know what the condition of Kulbhushan Jhadav is more than a year later. So I think they had history against them. Even in the past, when we have seen relatively smaller countries taking on countries like the United States, for example, they have always won at the International Court of Justice on this very point.
Swasini, you know, you're talking about 2008 bilateral treaty between the two countries and also Vienna Convention. Mr. Biswadi, do you think that what worked was that senior counsel and India's representative, Harish Salve, perhaps preempted what Pakistan's line of argument could be?
Harish Salve did an outstanding job. So did the External Affairs Ministry. Now you see the Article 36 of Vienna Convention of Consular Rights, the words express that the moment a foreign national is detained or arrested, it does not say foreign national with spying charge, a foreign national with terrorist charge. The wordings are plenary in nature. The moment you detain him, you have to tell him that it is your right under the...
And graver the charges, more important it is to come under Vienna Convention.
Absolutely. So therefore, ab initio, so the starting point of Pakistan proceeding against Mr. Kulbhushan Jhadav and proceeding for a year and awarding death sentence is ab initio void. So therefore, International Court of Justice today has made it abundantly clear India has a strong prima facie case. The balance of convenience is entirely in India's favor. An irreparable injury will be done to India's cause if they do not stay. They have not only stayed, unanimously 11 judges have unanimously said that you also have to report to us. And Pakistan, you know, a lot of concern has been expressed. What if Pakistan does not obey the order?
Correct.
You know, if Pakistan does not obey the order, United Nations Charter Chapter 14 very categorically states that the member countries, the ICJ court order will be binding, subject to the veto of the 5 permanent members. I am coming to that. And Chapter 7 says...
उसमें तो चाइना है.
हाँ नहीं मैं आ रहा हूँ
आपको पता है कि वीटो हो जाएगा.
चाइना का उतना हिम्मत नहीं होगा इन मामलों में. In matter concerning international obligations, in matter concerning treaty obligations, the law is very clear. I am just mentioning one point. Chapter 7 of the UN Charter says that United Nations Security Council, to prevent breach of international peace, can go in for military option. So they have never taken, so they have coercive powers. United Nations have coercive powers. So if Pakistan defies the International Court of Justice order, then India can move under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter seeking the help of military option. Of course, that situation will not arise. Pakistan dare not meddle around with the highest court of the world.
Hopefully that situation will not arise. So Hasani, India has gone to the International Court of Justice after 40 years. There's a good reason we have not approached the World Court. We are shy of internationalizing anything. Do you think this particular case opens it up to that, to internationalize the Kashmir issue, which Pakistan in any case constantly wants to do and is trying to do?
It's actually 46 years since India went to the ICJ, and you're quite right that conventional wisdom in India has been that the moment you internationalize a case, it's going to keep going. It's a little early to say where this one will lead, because we've just gotten through the first part, which is an interim stay on the execution of the warrant, death warrant against Kulbhushan Jhadav until the case is fully heard. India still has to put in its plea for consular access, for example, with the International Court of Justice, and go ahead with the plea it made earlier that this entire trial in the military court should be held in violation of the international law. So we don't know where this case is going to lead. So far, India had said they were going to restrict themselves simply to the Vienna Convention. As far as that is concerned, maybe India is able to ring fence its arguments. But ahead of that, it will certainly be said that if India is willing to accept the ICJ's jurisdiction on these issues, then maybe on a few more as well.
You know, Suhasini, a quick response on this. The response that has come from Pakistan Foreign Office, where they have said that they will present solid evidence against Kulbhushan Jhadav, and they have gone on to say that they will try and expose that India was trying to hide its real face. Do you think, why didn't they do that? Will that not be a question that will be asked?
Well, I don't think that there was a place in the interim arguments, and the court clearly showed its displeasure about any plan to show the Kulbhushan Jhadav confession tape. I think a lot of this is false bravado on Pakistan's part, because the truth is that the judgment is stinging. Even if the directive is very basic, you know, this is the directive that the ICJ has given on each of the 3 cases that they have heard in exactly this vein before this. All 3 of them against the United States. All 3 of those also involved a death penalty. But the judgment is pretty stinging if you go through the wording. So I think Pakistan is trying to maybe regain some of that lost face in the arguments today. As the argument proceeds, certainly they will want to push the idea that Kulbhushan Jhadav is not just a spy, but that they accuse him of terrorism, in particular of international terrorism, because they're accusing him of trying to carry out an attack on Chinese engineers inside Balochistan. But having said that, I think the first priority for India going forward from here, having got this order in their favor and the wording that is quite so strong and clear, is to try and ensure that Mr. Jadhav is in good health, get some kind of proof of that, whether or not that is through consular access, which Pakistan has yet to accede to, or other means. I think that is going to be important. You have to remember, and I keep referring to these 3 previous cases, because in the 3 previous cases in the ICJ had given exactly the same order. They had said that they directed the United States to not carry out this death warrants that they'd held in cases against Paraguay, in cases against Germany, and in cases against Mexico. The truth is the United States executed those accused in each of those cases.
Okay, so
and I think India has to work very quickly to ensure that Pakistan does not do the same.
So Hasini, good points there. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Biswajit Bhattacharya, thank you very much for being with us on the show as well. And Naved Chaudhary Saab, thank you very much. I hope Pakistan has the good sense to at least show us proof that Kulbhushan Jhadav is alive. Well, we know that Pakistan has admitted it at the International Court of Justice, but we hope he is well. At least give us proof of that. Consular access, as you're saying, it is you who will decide. We'll slip into a quick break on the show. There are some more reactions coming in on the other side.
Sartaj Aziz has spoken out on the verdict. We will be getting you that. Slipping into a short break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Today, Pakistan has egg on its face, but the Prime Minister's Foreign Affairs Advisor, the de facto External Affairs Minister of Pakistan, this is Sartaj Aziz, is dismissing today's international...
expected.
Yes, as expected.
Clearly calling it an observation and not a verdict, and adding that the trial is far from over. Well, that is the reality, that it is far from over, but today Pakistan has been shamed at the World Court. That is the reality as well.
मेरा ख्याल है ज्यादा बड़ी टीम की जरूरत होगी है तो 3 दिन के नोटिस पे हमने फौरी तौर पे किया। 3 दिन के अंदर उन्होंने लंदन से आए और यहाँ पे अपना केस तैयार किया और मजबूरी तौर पर तमाम का तासर ये है कि उसने बहुत इस तरह केस पेश किया, लेकिन उसमें जो बात है प्रोविजनल ऑर्डर्स की, कि प्रोविजनल तौर पे उसने वो किया, उसने ये बात कही थी कि उनके पास टाइम मौजूद है, कोई अर्जेंसी नहीं है, लेकिन अदालत ने ये कहा कि ये चूंकि अगस्त तक ये लिमिट जाती है तो अगर इस दौरान में फर्ज कीजिए इस केस के मेरिट को देखने में ज्यादा टाइम लगता है, तो इसलिए एक प्रोविजनल ऑर्डर उन्होंने किया। इसमें हमारे वकला और अटॉर्नी जनरल मजीद वजाहत करेंगे। आईसीजे ने ये कहा है कि उससे उसका हक जो है वो इफेक्ट नहीं होता, लेकिन उन्होंने ऑपरेशन में कोई हुक्म जारी नहीं किया, इस पर सिर्फ एक राय का इजहार किया है। और जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि उसमें हमने ये देखना है कि काउंसलर एक्सेस जो है वियना कन्वेंशन में अगर उसका थोड़ा बहुत हक बनता भी है, तो जो इसमें हमारा बुनियादी मौक़िफ़ है सिक्योरिटी के एंगल का, वो अभी भी रेलेवेंट है कि हमारा सिक्योरिटी का जो एंगल है वो कॉम्प्रोमाइज ना हो। तो इसको मजीद हमारे एक्सपर्ट एग्जामिन करेंगे, हम एक दफ़ा एग्जामिन करके फिर इसका जवाब।
Okay, it seems that Pakistan, or at least that's what Mr. Sartaj Aziz is suggesting, has their own set of laws. Yes. The International Court of Justice can say what they want to say, but Pakistan will do what they want to do.
And interestingly, Shreya, now Pakistan's argument is that India converted the International Court of Justice into a scene of political theatre. The question is, if you don't come up with valid arguments, then what can the International Court of Justice do?
And Marya, not just that, they are also accusing India of trying to divert attention by saying you've made this into a humanitarian issue. Right. Of course, this is a humanitarian issue. There is a man's life whose life is hanging in the balance. So, of course, this is a humanitarian issue, Marya.
And they are saying that urgency clause should not have been applied. Whatever said and done, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's victory, that is clearly the victory of Government of India. Prime Minister Modi, in fact, spoke to Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj today, expressing satisfaction over the ICJ's order. Sources saying that he congratulated her and the officials at the Ministry of External Affairs and lauded the work of senior counsel Harish Salve, who had led India's efforts at The Hague.
There is a great sense of relief as also happiness in India. It's a great vindication of India's stance, and the entire Indian team at Hague deserves to be congratulated. The External Affairs Minister, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, who piloted this strategy, Mr. Harish Salve, who effectively argued this matter, deserve a special mention. In the annals of international law, this judgment is a great victory of the rule of law.
That was Arun Jaitley speaking in Srinagar. He is, of course, India's finance minister, but also a very good lawyer himself.
Defense minister as well, and he is saying that the rule of law has prevailed today. On that note, we're slipping into a short break. That remains our top focus here on Epicenter at 7. Stay with us.
It's the big story this evening, a huge win for India. The International Court of Justice has stayed the hanging of Kulbhushan Jhadav. An 11-judge bench has also said that Pakistan has to give India consular access.
The consular access, remember, that was denied on 16 times. Pakistan, though, continues to live in denial. They are saying that whatever has happened at the ICJ was just procedure. Here is how the events played out today.
Pakistan shall take all measures at its disposal to ensure that Mr. Jhadav is not executed pending the final decision in these proceedings, and shall inform the court of all the measures taken in implementation of the present order.
The bottom line of a downright pasting for Pakistan at the International Court of Justice at The Hague. Every argument, every brazen defense and diversion Pakistan had put up 2 days back smashed to smithereens. Yes, this case is within this court's jurisdiction. Yes, the matter is urgent and Pakistan cannot be trusted, said the ICJ. A huge victory for India, a powerful vindication of its stand on a global platform.
It is very, very clear that the Indian stand is victorious, and I must congratulate the persons concerned, including the Ministry of External Affairs.
The government and leaders across India's political spectrum hailed the ICJ judgment. Relief and satisfaction, victory of rule of law that endorses the relevance and necessity of procedural and substantive fairness denied by Pakistan.
The government shall not leave any stone unturned in its effort to save Mr. Jhadav. It constitutes an essential first step in ensuring justice for Mr. Jhadav.
Victory and relief for India and for friends and family of Kulbhushan Jhadav in Mumbai and other parts of the country who have raised a voice for his well-being.
ये बहुत बड़ा तमाचा है पाकिस्तान के लिए. पाकिस्तान पूरी तरह से एक्सपोज हो चुका है.
And the other end of the picture, Pakistan's old tired tune as it looks to find saving grace after being battered on a global platform. Little choice but to admit and be shamed, yet insisting it will keep up its fight.
Very basic thing, what the court has done is to, given its ruling on a provisional measure, which is basically a procedural process. And I think that's about it.
Yes, the verdict is binding, but will Pakistan abide by it? And what are the implications of violations? Will Pakistan learn lessons from this global shaming? And can we really expect a rogue state to fall in line?
Unprecedented victory for India at the World Court. All of Pakistan's arguments have fallen flat, Shreya. And what it exposes is that the military courts are a sham. Crucially, the ICJ has maintained that the rights invoked by India under the Vienna Convention are plausible.
And as we end the show, a bit of trivia, just one piece of trivia. How much was Harish Salve paid for arguing India's case? 1 rupee. How much was the Pakistani lawyer paid, Marya? 10 crore rupees.
So that's what he did.
A salute to Harish Salve this evening. We'll end the show with that. Thank you very much for watching. Arunday Mukherjee up next with India 360.